McGregor gets knocked out by Dustin Poirier. It just, I mean, you want to say it was a good fight, but the reality is it was a short fight. Dustin got him. He got him in the second round, and it doesn't appear that either guy are close to what they used to be. Conor, I mean, first of all, even before the fight, Conor was so sort of friendly and gratuitous to Dustin. And you gotta think, like, when you're gonna fight a guy, is that the best way to go into a fight? Does that give you the edge that you need? Now, I'm not suggesting that it made a difference in the results of the fight, but when you have a guy like Conor who has always gotten over or made a name for himself by sort of intimidating his opponents, so to speak, even though it was an unbecoming characteristic and a lot of us weren't fans of it, but that is how he made his name. And, maybe he thought to himself, hey, I already beat Dustin, there's no reason to sort of rub it in, the fact that I already knocked him out. But, so he went about it a different way, and, I guess kudos to him. He's being more diplomatic in a sense, but at the end of the day, he lost, and he got knocked out. And after the Khabib fight, Conor's air of invincibility was gone, because the look, if you remember the look that he had when he was sitting on the floor looking up at Khabib, and it was just almost a look of a little boy, and you felt bad for Conor. You felt bad for him, even though he's very boisterous and demonstrative, and a lot of us are not fans of that sort of those antics, but you couldn't help but feel bad for him. But then you may have said to yourself, well, that is Khabib. He's the best fighter in the division and perhaps of all time in that weight division. But Dustin Poirier, especially for having been knocked out by Conor previously, to then come back and do what he did, sort of tells you that Conor is at the end of his rope. And as much as he may want to have one foot inside of his businesses and his brand and another foot inside of the fight game, it's a tough thing to do, because the fight game requires so much attention. And in a weird way, when you think of the fight game, what people do in fighting is they willingly take pain in exchange for a better financial scenario tomorrow. And so when you're put when you've sort of carried out your career in a way where you can already create that, sometimes it's hard to let go of the fighting. But you got to remember, that was the ultimate objective, to get past the fighting and to make money, to create a different trajectory for your family name. And so, and for your kids, and their ability to grow up in an affluent situation as opposed to struggling or lower middle class or whatever Conor was, because I believe he was a tradesman or a roofer or something like that at some point. But I would say to Conor, respectfully, it's probably time to give it up, to let it go, and to move on, because I don't think at this point, he's gonna get any better, and his air of invincibility is entirely gone. Maybe he can take a fight with a Masvidal or somebody like that, or maybe he can do the trilogy with Dustin. Who knows? But maybe somebody would want to see something like that, and if he were to win that fight in an incredible fashion, then perhaps he can move forward. But as it stands right now, no one wants to see him against Justin, whatever his name is, the kid who's an internet sensation, who likes to box, or even Pacquiao. No one wants to see that. And as far as Dustin, I think it's about time Dustin hang him up as well. I mean, he looked sloppy. He looked sluggish. His punches are really slow, and it's almost like he was telegraphing them to a certain extent. Now, obviously, it's easier for someone who's watching it at home to say that. Meanwhile, Conor got knocked out by his punches. So it's no disrespect. I just don't think that he's gonna be capable of having too many more big fights, especially not like the one that he had with Dan Hooker. I think he's taken a tremendous amount of punishment in his career, and so I would say the same thing for him as well as Conor, that they both should probably be looking into potentially retiring.
Yeah, I'll give you my 2 cents, and if you're not too sensitive, you'll be able to sense how much sense I actually make. I'm actually great.